Deputy Speaker, last Friday I had the honour of attending the Fremantle Community Legal Centre's White Ribbon event at Walyalup Court in the city of Fremantle to stand against the scourge of men's violence against women and to support its elimination. It's unacceptable that for women in Australia and elsewhere, the threat of physical and sexual violence perpetrated by men is never far away. On the flagstones in the entry hall, white crosses stood in rows to mark squares of laminated testimony that carried the stories of murdered women. And for all those crosses, this wasn't a field of pain and loss that stretched back several years. Many of the stories were from August, September, October and November 2024. Deputy Speaker, today is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. It serves as a reminder that the struggle for women's basic rights remains acute and desperate. It's an opportunity to remember that the work required to eliminate violence against women is an effort that needs all of us all of the time. It's genuinely shocking to think that men's violence contributes to more death, disability and illness in women aged between 15 and 44 in Australia than any other preventable risk factor. On average, one woman is murdered by her partner each week, and for First Nations women in Western Australia alone, as many as 1 in 2 women have experienced violence and abuse. It's unacceptable, and yet virtually every family will have had some experience of this deep societal disease. It's vital, therefore, that we lift our effort to challenge and change this awful state of affairs in every possible dimension, in our culture, in the services that support women who experience violence and in our law enforcement and criminal justice systems. Deputy Speaker, I want to acknowledge the staff and leadership of the Fremantle Community Legal Centre for their life-saving work. I'm glad to be a member of a government that recognises the incredible contribution these centres make in the cause of safety, peace and justice for Australian women. In September, the Albanese government announced an investment of $3.9 billion to back those services through a new National Access to Justice partnership. Ending violence against women and children has rightly been a top-of-the-list priority for the Albanese Labor government. Indeed, we've invested more than $3.4 billion in initiatives to support the National Plan to End Violence Against Women and Children 2022 to 2032. We've, of course, legislated so that for the first time workers in Australia have an entitlement to 10 days paid family and domestic violence leave. We've made sure the Housing Australia Future Fund will deliver 4,000 additional dwellings for women and children fleeing violence, and we've funded the Leaving Violence program. Deputy Speaker, gender-based violence is a national crisis that requires attention and action at every level so that women and children in Australia can feel safe everywhere.